Hey, I'm Anya. If you love hearing honest opinions or enjoy binge-watching discussion videos about random topics, you're in the right place. First of all, since this is my first video, let me introduce myself. I'm Anya, as I mentioned before, and I'm a very opinionated person. Every new group comeback, every new book, or even a random influencer, I always have something to say about it. I love hearing other people's opinions, and I also love sharing mine. So if that's your vibe, welcome aboard. I'm looking forward to making videos about anything I want to talk about: K-pop, trends, specific people, books, communities, TV shows, and pretty much anything else that catches my interest. Right now, I've decided to focus mainly on K-pop related content, but I already have lots of ideas from other genres packed and ready to go. And if there's something specific you'd like to hear me talk about, just leave a comment. I'd love to make a video on your suggestions. With all that being said, let's keep the introductions aside and get into today's topic. BTS. The actual beats of K-pop have returned. New music is finally here. A whole new album with 14 tracks, or rather, 13 songs and a Bell soundtrack, is out, and as I've said before, I'm a very opinionated person. So yes, I have a lot to say about this album. Did BTS change? Did they leave their roots behind? Is this album actually bad? We'll get into all of that. BTS's comeback was honestly one of the most anticipated events of 2026. ARMYs and even non-ARMYs were consciously and subconsciously waiting for it. So, as expected, the moment it dropped, it exploded. Charts were being dominated, Spotify was being taken over, and records were being broken. They did exactly what everyone expected them to do. But no one is safe from criticism. People either loved this album or absolutely despised it. So, I'll talk about the tracks, and at the end, I'll say a word about the hate it's been receiving and is it justified. Body to Body. This song feels like it's meant to take BTS back to their roots while still maintaining their own style and incorporating Korean cultural significance. Unexpectedly, it's one of the best tracks on the album. The intro absolutely eats. This part creates a sense of anticipation and immediately pulls you in. The rap throughout the song is well balanced and doesn't overshadow anything else. The main highlight is when the beat drops and the Korean section begins. It just hits. When I first listened to it, I didn't get goosebumps like a lot of other people did, but it definitely made me pause and think, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. The album has only just begun, and opening with a track like this instantly makes you want to sit back and keep listening. It was completely unexpected, and that's exactly what made it even better. Overall, it is a really strong track and one of the standout songs on the album. Hooligan. Okay, now this track is confusing. Some people love it, some hate it, and some even say their faves could do it better. But let's be honest for a second. We all know this song wouldn't exist without BTS, so no, your faves cannot do it better. With that being said, let's talk about the song itself. It has a loud, edgy vibe that's enough to make you want to move, but not so overwhelming that it becomes annoying. It sits perfectly on that fine line and does exactly what it needs to do. The opening instrumentals got a lot of hate, but honestly, I love them. For me, they set the mood perfectly. The ha-ha part added even more flavor to the song. Overall, this track works really well and serves exactly what it needs to serve. Aliens. This song is something else. It talks about racism and how they feel like aliens in the West, reflecting the discrimination that Asian people often face. This isn't a topic that's commonly discussed in K-pop, and I have to give BTS credit for making a song about it. The message feels very intentional. It doesn't shy away from being direct at certain moments, yet it still manages to feel personal rather than preachy. I haven't seen much hate surrounding the song, which is honestly a good thing because the topic is sensitive, connected to their own experiences, and brings something fresh to the table. It perfectly delivers what it's trying to be. FYA. Now we're talking. The second I heard the intro, I was convinced this was going to be my song. Later on, another track ended up becoming my favorite, Normal, but that doesn't change how good this one is. This song is built to hype up a crowd, make everyone jump, and have people screaming their lungs out. The energy is infectious, and you can already imagine how insane it would sound in a stadium. This is one of the most energetic songs on the album. 2.0. I honestly don't have much to say about this one because, just like most of the tracks on this album, it eats. The beat is catchy, the rhythm works perfectly, and overall, it's another solid addition to the album. It says less and does more. RM's rap instantly made this a 10 out of 10 for me, and the lyrics are ridiculously catchy too. It's not trying to do anything groundbreaking, but it does everything it sets out to do perfectly. Number 29. So, hey, this is, well, we all know what this is. The only thing I have to say is that I added this track to all my playlists because it's honestly such a nice break-in between listening to other songs. It works as a breather and gives you a moment to just sit back before diving into the next track. Swim. This one is interesting because I genuinely don't know where I stand with it. It's good. It's calm. It's just good. I just didn't expect this when I saw the title. I thought it was going to be something slow, whiny, and yearning in a way that feels almost sensual, like BSNT or OFGT. Instead, it felt a little bland to me. I do like the song, I really do, but it never truly stuck out. And honestly, the fact that it's the title track automatically puts a lot of expectations on it, and for me, it just didn't meet them. Was it good? Yes. Did I expect something completely different? Also yes. On a positive note though, this song is weirdly addictive at the same time. So yeah, it's good, but I expected something better, and I like it, but I don't like it like that. Let me be clear, it is a good song. I don't dislike it at all. I just had very different expectations for it, and because of that, it didn't hit the way I wanted it to. Sometimes expectations can shape your experience, and that's exactly what happened here. Merry-Go-Round. Devoured. This track was it. I have never related more to those posts saying, I want this song to slap me into consciousness. This is exactly the kind of music I love. The soft yet strong vocals, the pacing, the atmosphere, everything was perfect. It felt like the nicest way possible to bless my ears, and they absolutely nailed it. Just perfect. Normal. Tell me why I was singing this during my maths exam when I couldn't answer a single question for my grade's sake. If you can't answer that, let me do it. Because this song is genuinely one of the best things on the album. The lines are literally looping in my head since day one. At first, I thought FY was my favorite, but then Merry-Go-Round and Normal completely took over me. These are perfect songs to put on and just exist with. I high-key want the song to beat my awe because listening to it once is simply not enough. Like Animals. Another banger on the way. The only thing I didn't like was that there seemed to be a build-up throughout the song, but it never fully exploded the way I wanted it to. The outro could have been better too. That being said, this song is basically a close friend of Normal and Merry-Go-Round in my rankings, and I absolutely love it. One More Night. Don't kill me, but I honestly get why BTS didn't like it. It feels like something you'd hear at a gas station or in a random shop playing a random playlist. It sounds good, but for me, it's my least favorite track on the album. It's somewhat bland. Every time this comes on, I'll sing along. But will I ever play it on my own? Probably not. It's not a skip, but it's also not a sit back and listen kind of song either. They don't know about us. The vocals. Jimin's damn vocals carried me through this song. The vibe, the topic, and the execution, everything felt perfect, and it landed exactly where it needed to land. Another really strong track and one that leaves a lasting impression. Please. I find this one somewhat similar to One More Night, except I think it's better. The lyrics stood out to me more, and the entire song felt incredibly cozy. I would absolutely play this while reading a book or going on a late-night drive. It's comforting in a very simple way. Into the Sun. I can't even lie, the intro was not it. The heavy auto-tune or voice effect or whatever they used completely threw me off. It felt robotic and I just couldn't get behind it. But the middle section and the outro? Legitimately perfect. The ending felt nostalgic in a way I can't even explain. It reminds me of running around a golf course with my friends. I don't know why, but it does. I just wish they hadn't used that voice effect in the beginning because it kind of ruined what could have been an even better song for me. So, overall, this album is a solid 9 out of 10 for me. I liked most of the songs and yes, even the Bell soundtrack. And I'm not even glazing when I say this, it is genuinely one of the best albums I've heard in a while. I'm making this video after 3 months of the release, and it gave me enough time to know what I liked. The songs have grown on me differently over time, and I'm completely sure about what I like and what I don't. Some tracks became better with each listen, while others stayed exactly where I initially placed them. Now, the main topic, did BTS change? Absolutely not. That's my answer. The main problem was that some people expected full English, Dynamite, and Butter type songs, while others wanted a completely Korean album. Personally, I think a blend of both works perfectly fine. The whole argument about the English lyrics honestly doesn't matter that much to me. Yes, it's obvious that there was a push toward the Western market, and I completely understand why some fans are disappointed by that. But that won't change the fact that this was the most Korean K-pop type of album in a while. Lyrics do matter, and I also understand why people wanted more Korean songs. But we can't ignore the whole concept that carries out the identity as a while throughout. Personally, I loved the album regardless. I don't need every single song to be fully Korean, but I do wish there had been 2 or 3 tracks with predominantly Korean lyrics and just bits of English mixed in. I think that would have made the album feel even more connected to BTS's roots. But this felt connected too. People also need to understand that artists don't always have complete control over every decision surrounding an album. There are management decisions, market strategies, and plenty of things happening behind the scenes that fans simply don't know about. I genuinely don't think anything has changed. A lot of newer armies, especially those who found BTS through Dynamite, expect them to keep releasing bright, soft, feel-good pop songs. On the other hand, some older fans believe BTS completely abandoned their original sound. Honestly, if you sit down and think about it for a while, you'll realize that this album feels like another version of their early releases. The energy is there. The attitude is there. Even the structure of some songs feels familiar. The only difference is the amount of Korean lyrics and, naturally, the maturity that comes with them being older and more experienced artists. They don't sound exactly like they did years ago because no artist stays the same forever. People grow. Their voices change, their production evolves, and their perspectives become different. But the core of BTS, the genres they experiment with, the way they blend rap and vocals, and that uniquely BTS sound that immediately stands out, it's all still there. I think both sides of the fandom misunderstand something. The newer fans sometimes expect only the bright, radio-friendly BTS, while some older fans are chasing a version of BTS that exists only in nostalgia. If you've listened to their earlier albums, you'll know that this comeback isn't some huge identity shift. It isn't a completely different BTS. It's still them. This is exactly who they've always been. People just didn't listen to them. One thing I really want to talk about in detail is the whole "my favorite idols could do this better" argument, because I've seen it everywhere since the album dropped. I know I said a word about it before, but I want to talk about it again. A lot of people are labeling certain songs as not good enough for BTS, or saying that another group could have executed them better. But here's my question. If BTS never made these songs in the first place, would they even exist? The answer is no. These songs required creativity, production choices, lyric writing, melodies, beats, concepts, and a very specific execution to become what they are. You can't separate all of that from BTS and then claim someone else automatically would have done it better. And, honestly, I find the AI cover argument even funnier. People make AI covers of BTS songs using other idols' voices and then say, "Look, this sounds better." But does it really? The music is still the same. The production is still the same. The lyrics are still the same. The arrangement is still the same. The only thing that changed is the voice filter placed over the song. You're not listening to a different version of the song, you're listening to the exact same song with another voice pasted onto it. And liking a different voice more is completely fine. Music is subjective. But saying another artist executed the song better when they didn't write it, produce it, arrange it, or actually perform it is a completely different argument. You can prefer another idol's tone. You can prefer another group's style. But that doesn't automatically make the song better, nor does it erase the creativity and effort that went into BTS creating it in the first place. At the end of the day, these songs exist because BTS made them. Whether you love them or hate them is your opinion, but acting like the songs would be exactly the same without BTS's creative input completely ignores the reason they exist at all. So again, let's talk about the album as a whole. I've already gone through all the songs individually and talked about the basic setting of the album, but I really want to discuss it one more time because this is genuinely one of the best albums I've heard in a while. ARIRANG, the album is essentially about how BTS feels after coming back from the military and reconnecting with ARMY again. ARIRANG, as a title, feels incredibly romantic because it carries the meaning of beloved, my love, someone precious to you. The album uses that idea to express the feeling of meeting your beloved after a long time apart, returning to your roots and coming back to where you truly belong. The concept doesn't just exist on paper, it genuinely feels alive throughout the entire album. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Every song somehow fits into the album's identity. Every track feels like it belongs here. Nothing feels random or unnecessary. They all contribute to this idea of reconnecting, reflecting, and finding your way back home. The intention behind the album is also just really sweet to me. ARIRANG is supposed to feel like reconnecting with someone you love after being separated for a long time. And personally, it did reconnect with me. First of all, the album flows incredibly well. The first half is strong, energetic, and vibey. It's the kind of music that makes you want to dance your heart out and keeps you hyped from beginning to end. But after number 29, which is literally just a bell ringing, the entire atmosphere shifts. The songs become slower and calmer, but they still carry that identity that BTS somehow manages to maintain throughout their music. I think everything worked really well together. The album never feels messy. Even though the songs experiment with different sounds and moods, every track has its own personality while still contributing to the overall experience. Nothing feels out of place. Honestly, I don't think many artists, especially in K-pop, put this much thought into building an album experience. With this project, it really shows. The sequencing feels intentional, the transitions make sense, and every song seems to exist for a reason. The instrumentals and production were also amazing. Every track brought a new vibe, a new aura, and a different beat. Personally, the vocal lines stood out to me the most. However, if I look at the overall reception, I think a lot of people are gravitating towards the rap sections and the high-energy, party-type songs. They simply have that explosive quality that immediately catches your attention. Now, let's talk about the themes because I think that's where this album truly shines. Every song has something to say. Every track has its own story, its own message, and its own purpose. Some songs didn't completely click with me, and some didn't sound exactly how I expected them to, but I can't deny that every song had a soul and a meaning behind it. The lyrics were honestly one of the best parts of the entire album. They're thoughtful, intentional, and incredibly well-written. If you sit with the songs for even 2 minutes and really think about what they're saying, you realize how carefully crafted they are. Personally, I loved the lyrics of Normal. I really liked the way it talks about things that shouldn't be normal eventually becoming normal simply because you're forced to live with them. It's such a simple idea, but it's presented in a way that feels relatable and surprisingly emotional. And Aliens was a masterpiece when it came to themes. It tackled something meaningful. As for my standout tracks, my personal favorites are Normal and Merry Go Round. I've said it multiple times already, but these two songs completely took over me. FY is another song that I absolutely loved because of its energy, but those two remain my favorites. Also, I do think Aliens isn't getting enough credit for its themes and overall concept. I also don't think Merry Go Round has found its audience yet. Both of those songs absolutely eat. As for the weakest track, it's One More Night. I don't hate it, but compared to everything else on the album, it simply stands out the least to me. The biggest strength of this album, though, is its replay value. A lot of these songs didn't hit me immediately. They kept getting better with every listen. They slowly grew on me until I suddenly realized that they had been stuck in my head the entire time. Unless you absolutely despise a particular track, I think there's something to enjoy in every song on this album. Another thing I want to talk about is the comparison to previous BTS eras. Right before this comeback, I went back and listened to BTS's entire discography, including their solo work and older albums, just to refresh my memory and make a playlist. And after doing that, I can confidently say this. BTS did not change. I genuinely don't understand when people say they did because they absolutely didn't. If you listen to their older eras, you'll realize that the DNA of BTS is still here. The genres they experiment with, the balance between rap and vocals, the storytelling, the themes, and the emotions all feel incredibly familiar. This doesn't feel like a completely different BTS. It feels like the old BTS making new music. I think some fans expect BTS to remain frozen in one particular era forever. But that's impossible. Artists grow. They mature. Every comeback is supposed to bring something new. You can't expect them to release the exact same songs repeatedly and then complain when they experiment with something different. The album still has a distinctly BTS and K-pop feel to it. It still carries emotion, storytelling, and an identity that feels authentic to who they are. So no, this album won't satisfy everyone, and that's perfectly okay. It's imperfect in places, but it's bold, fun, emotional, and undeniably BTS. Whether you love every song or only a handful of them, one thing remains clear. BTS haven't lost themselves. They've simply grown, and this album proves that their identity is still completely intact. You can disagree with the music. You can dislike certain songs. You can prefer older eras. But you cannot change the fact that this is still BTS being BTS. I believe a lot of the hate this album is receiving comes from the fact that it's made by BTS. Because if we're being completely honest, if these exact songs were released by someone else, I don't think the reactions would be nearly as harsh. Anyway, we've talked about everything now. I don't think I've left anything out. And if I have, please let me know in the comments because I definitely plan on making a separate video entirely dedicated to the controversies surrounding this comeback. People have a lot of opinions about this album. I agree with some of them and I disagree with others. Also, one more thing, this review wasn't meant to be harsh or brutally critical. I didn't want the first video on my channel to be me hating on something. I wanted my first video to be about something I genuinely enjoyed. In the future, you can definitely expect more brutally honest reviews from me. But I'm being honest here too. The reason I sound so calm and positive throughout this video is simply because I don't have many negative things to say about this album. I loved it. So that's my review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you liked about the album, what you disagreed with, or whether there was a point in this video that you completely related to. I'll see you in another video. Until then, bye.